Sorry. And so, this questioning is running, is underway at impeachment. So we're still 16 and it's changed on March 16. 15, so 15 is the dates of the year. Right, okay, irrelevant, right? So, public impeachment. Let's still get chronologized eyes real quick here. Sorry, Twitter questioning our range strike. Accounts and saying like that. I wasn't given a lump sum when I got on disability, and if they're backdating, I wasn't backdating from 2013. Given that there was no threshold for me to keep up with bills, rent, and stuff like that. Okay, now given now such teach candidates about that. I didn't defer on anything. I didn't have any bills. I was paying the rent all the time. Everything was on time. I was destroying accounts in their way and stuff like that. Destroying accounts. And what else? I paid the rent. Everything was on time. I paid a roof over our head. You know, with this, whatever. And that's it. I had everything was on time. The loans are on time. Everything was there. Principals, there's a loan. I've been charged off for something. Rather.
Gets to close. Hearsay. I think the American public needs to remind.
Okay, if the real one is you pay the principal the $250 you owe in the end. That's it on principal alone. You're gonna get harassment calls anyway, which I have. You know, such and such. And so, it's gonna jog my memory and whatnot. But you get harassment calls anyway, and then it gives them a reason because if I was to lean on you to use as a ride to what do you call it to get other bills paid by their customers. So it's used as a template.
For the millions of Americans viewing today.
So it's not so much to extend me credit, it's just like kind of like use me as a ride. Like, okay, we want to do this because it's an example, but we're going to get our money back. And we're going to keep have you paying fees.
Mr. Kent and Ambassador
racism, I hate, what is that? And what about hate? What is that? I hate, what? Bleaching effects? Isn't that what it is? Isms alone. You're talking about such and such. Metaphysical, okay, removed, right, not neutral abilities, right, but bleaching, such and such, and 16 on dates and backdating. Well, I mean, you know, what can I say? My hand was, what can I say? But it's not even more so? Is that what you're saying? Is it more so? So you say PTSD on top of PTSD.
President Zelensky.
It comes from hate, but it was more race and discrimination. You have to add those two ingredients too. Just by the lexicon alone. And what do you call it? You're a firefighter alone. So, you know, what about it? I didn't say anything. I'm socially responsible on that. I'm also responsible and conservative. So, now what about a forum? And what about apostols?
Which is an important tool for the president as we provide
you absolve yourself from accountability, you absolve yourself from reliability, you give a blind so-called position to absolve yourself about accountability and reliability for repercussions against me for the species that you want me to be as a messenger for, to, as, in the United States. So, given that, well, you say a hate issue. What about a hate issue? You do bleaching effect, okay? If you don't freedom of thought, that means that hypothetically, if I was to go to school, there's no concentration. There's no concentration here, other than as a concentration camp. You can't. There's no freedom of thought. It's a big circus with me as in the middle as the freak show, you know. So for people so-called statute of limitations that have exceeded that, and in turn hypocritically inflict the same things as some type of vengeance. Somebody that's totally removed from that idea and has given his statute of limitations. So there's that. So you're talking about like exact dates. What about exact dates?
That's correct.
So you're backdating to when? You're backdating to
against the
8-year wait list in San Francisco.
That's correct.
What about it?
You testified also.
So what about in San Francisco? It's not my choice to be here. I am here now. So what? It wasn't. What's that?
Is that correct?
That's correct. It was
No, yeah, I would go to Gap, and I would come home, and I would go to sleep, and Latin Americans would laugh at my window as I'm trying to go to sleep. That's not hate.
Related to Burisma. That's when there was an effort by Burisma
So,
to sponsor an
there's a what do you call it? A so-called sanctuary city laughing at me when I'm a citizen with a GI Bill as a citizen, and the citizen as a mother trying to look at me, condescending, patronizing me, and all this is I was slapping the faces by this guy who obviously has smallpox.
You are also aware and you
so-
testified today that Hunter Biden served
So now, given that, so what? And then you have
and you also testified that you were indeed concerned about the appearance
and total victimization. If you're going back to victimizations of San Francisco, then, and you're saying, okay, well, this is important, and just the hate of San Francisco. Well, what do you call it? What is this here? I mean, a long list of such and such, and you call them back and say, do this. You still tell me to self-incriminate myself, and say, so you represent Sacramento, and saying your bleaching effect on a better than average curve, and it has nothing on San Francisco. Is that what you're saying? So what you do is basically has nothing to do with it because of what San Francisco is about.
I will yield 30 seconds. You know what? I will yield back after that. Thank you.
Mr. Swallow, both of you have testified that you are not direct witnesses who've spoken
Yield
with President
back to
Trump.
that.
However, you are witnesses.
Yield back to that. Yeah, that's a form of hate in
others
itself.
participated in who spoke with President Trump. However, Ambassador Bolton.
So, wait, she just glazed me on a twice removed on something removed to such and such of a host to such and such, or what do you call it?
We do know how.
And so, what are you talking about? She just DDT'd me on that.
Because on October 17, at a press conference, you discussed the hold on security assistance.
But wait a minute, okay. So if I'm in San Francisco and my mom gets poisoned and such and such, or rather like that, that is not the effect of climate change or something like that. Are you holding me against the fact that climate change is something such? No, man. Ethnocentricities and stuff like that. All that is a non-common legion victimization. Okay, we've gotten poisoned in San Francisco as well. Okay, we've gotten overlooked for jobs for people that weren't citizens as well. Okay,
Ambassador Taylor, the president conditioning security.
we've had so-called illegals and stuff like that. So given the common and the legion of it, and you look at in San Francisco, if we're sitting up here at a door, a window, or something like that, and we're living our life and such and such, and I'm like, okay, we gotta move because your landlords are like, oh, you know what, we're gonna call the police at this point, and such and all that stuff. When in fact, okay, gray area agenda, whatever. When in fact we have done nothing wrong. Nothing wrong, and you continue to victimize us, then it's time for us to go. Obviously. So naturally, with this person's questioning is, if we're victimized enough, then yes, we're going to leave.
Can we also?
But does that cancel out the fact that she's saying that because of that we can get victimized here?
Again,
Because I want to go try to buy a car there in Daly City. Okay, and you have no avenues or whatsoever. So you refuse to show her face and such. Looks like more like Benghazi to me, and something or other, and something to that effect. And saying, oh well, collectively that lady hates us, individually and what do you call it, and collectively, which is the consensus anyway.
Said yesterday that he
and so whether it be this person in the background and be like, oh, you know what, this is a double standard and something like that, it's just, all it is a split, as you're saying, is a split, so such and such to hold my mom hostage about what she says about, and hold me accountable for it. Okay. When I had to send her to the hospital and stuff like that, when I had to administer the hospital for poisoning. Okay. So what she says is we're Sacramento is absolved of guilt because of the stuff that we went through in San Francisco. When in fact, because San Francisco is not so much it's not as bad as they say it is. It is better off without us. Okay. So if you say, I don't think she's talking about we're not giving our proper compensation, and so basically she's moving on folklore alone, okay, and she's moving on, okay, whatever she's moving on, okay, so she's given still due process, tit for tat. I don't know if that's tit for tat. She's given intimidation. I don't know, intimidation maybe, assault and intimidation and battery. Yeah, I think that's pretty much what it is. I think just on an everyday basis, intimidation. Given our background, our exposed background. So intimidation, yeah, sure. Yeah, we've been intimidated. The office is unapproachable. Yeah. We're not still in a sense we're not acknowledged. Whatever she just said, we're not acknowledged for the fact of all the victimizations that have been on, and in turn says this is our fault. This is our fault. This is what she said. This is what the Latin said in the back. This is our fault that we went out here. We came out here such and such, where she's obviously moving on commons and legions and stuff like that, and some superiority complex of something or other. When in fact her motives are ethnocentric, is what in turn. Where, if you date back to the 16th, yes, there was Latin Americans there and stuff like that, talking about that mess instead of trying to spit on me and all this other stuff.
I'm here to tell you what I know.
So
I'm here to tell you what I heard and what I said.
So if you say I have something, if I'm a bigot or something like that, or reasonable. Or something like that. What is it that I have done? What is it that I have done to a so-called Latin to say, this is what needs to be done?
I appreciate y'all's decade of service as the fabled
from all your front lines.
Ambassador Ryan Crocker says, because we have pumps.
All your front lines on Shimas on trying to get someone to stand by you, stand next to you.
We need to have boots on the ground. Military own an important role in our national security, and thank you and your colleagues. Mr. Taylor, my first questions are to you, and these are questions that are on years prior to your time in
civil and criminal.
I'm pretty sure you can answer them. Did the Ukrainians get aid?
Okay, 16.
17.
Aid for what? I didn't ask for bond program. I had to move out. I walked here from Quimby Way. My family member, who could have said no. And such and such. Aid, we don't get. Okay, so I was like, what aid? I chose. I didn't say no. I went just no. You have to. Okay.
Security assistance.
So, does that mean we isolate ourselves? No. Does that mean we keep our business to ourselves? Yeah. Does that mean we don't get in other people's businesses the way nosy people do? Yeah. Does that mean we're isolated? Yeah. Does that mean we're overexposed? Yeah. Does that mean we're depleted in a sense, and ethically and physically? Yeah.
It takes a while.
And is that Legion? Is that in common with the Commons and the Legion? Yeah, that's kind of typical.
That was with prior year money, so there's about a lag.
Oh, the admission of monetary. Yeah, what he said. I want admission of monetary. What, a name change? That was the name on my birth certificate.
In order to help them kick
That was the name on my birth certificate, and I can't read that well, but I know it can.
Ambassador Taylor, you earlier testified that Ukrainian officials did not become aware of potential U.S.
And he just I knew he had to insert that on you, and because you just on common legions alone, just to make you on defensive.
Ukrainian official knew about that sooner.
Just to make you on defensive. That's an example right there how they make you on defensive. Like, huh? Brace your answer, which is freedom of speech, to say, look, I can choose not to talk to you or not talk, and you have a reverse negativity that I don't even have to address or look at in the same direction, or look at you like, and without saying like, what the hell are you talking about?
Ukrainian official contacting you, concerned about,
and have nothing, no qualms, nothing against, nothing about it, but rights.
It was after the article in Political came out, that first.
So if you don't like,
so after that August,
whatever he said,
conversation.
he's doing stipulation and technicals. Because you agree with the Latin. So you're trying to absolve and something like that already. Look, hey, look. You know what I mean?
Or have an idea.
You got call guards and stuff like that doing photo bombs and stuff like that. And stuff like that, and you know, and when you with your history of fugitive knowledge and being unapproachable, it's hard to it's hard to be it's hard to take my whole list out of my pocket and logically say at a time so I can get some due process on it and give it what it is.
And I believe that meeting was somewhere in late August.
Exactly. No, I mean, yeah, this feels great, man. I'd rather sit up here and talk like this because counseling is needed.
And y'all talk that y'all are still
You know, you make us bottle up like it never even happened and stuff. Oh, well, you know, that's a nice chair, right? I'm like, that's a nice chair, right? Relax, right? Freedom of speech, right?
Referring to the
Yeah, I do got a chair. Yeah, I do got a balcony. What is it? It's there coming up. Yeah, I am a spook. What about it? Am I reasonable? Yes, I am.
I think if you go back to the back and forth of WhatsApps that were shared by Kurt Volker, they shared.
I don't know what he's talking about. You want me to do a visual on your tie, man? I don't care about Canton San Anselmo. So what is this self-incrimination? All you're doing is using my mama hostage. You know what I'm talking about? I'm saying this is. We're gonna lean on this, and you all deserve a pie in the face.
U.S. businesses.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, his mom. When it's like you know, it was speculative, right? But you deserve a pie in the face just on strength because the way you are. Do you see a person like me, treat them other than you want to treat? Do you see a person like me walking with a mother, looking at them, talking crap to them, and stuff like that? Or no mother out here will take rather share their son, talking crap to her, and so that a proposition for prostitution, instead of speculative, you say, right? Speculative, you say. Understand?
Yield back the time I do not have, Mr. Chairman.
Now, no moral decay.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, gentlemen, for your testimony today and for your service to our country. Listening to all the evidence, everything